Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad.
My name's Dave Abkarian.
My name's Abigail Apkarian.
And this is a podcast where we sit down with our fellow funny friends, our fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi.
Hi.
Abigail, how are you?
Good.
How was your Christmas?
Awesome.
Man, you had a cool Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I got so much cool stuff.
Did you?
Uh-huh. I got a hoverboard, which I'm on right now.
You are standing on your hoverboard as we record this podcast.
Uh-huh.
You're pretty good on that thing.
Uh-huh. And I got a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've been playing some Mario Kart?
Yeah.
We played some Mario Kart on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at Mario Kart.
Better than me. Oh, yesterday at Grandma Debbie's, we had a family Mario Kart battle.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We hooked it up to the TV. Everybody raced.
That's great. And you guys were all just like switching controllers and stuff?
Yeah. Whoever won got to stay, but whoever lost had to pick someone else.
Oh, that's fun.
It was.
Who won the most?
I'm not sure. Everyone did.
Everyone won once?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
Or more.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's awesome.
Uh-huh. I beat Michael.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was so happy.
Oh man, you hear that heavy equipment? It's outside. You know what they're doing?
Yeah, they're gonna plant. They're gonna plant some trees, almond trees.
Almond trees. That's right. But do you know what they're doing right now?
Using fertilizer.
Yeah, they're spreading fertilizer out there.
Yeah, when I got here, I saw a big pile of steamy hot fertilizer.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah, that big old pile's been sitting out in front of my house for like a week now, I'd guess. Just maybe not a whole week, maybe like a few days, just steaming there, just getting all stinky and steamy. So yeah, it was a cool Christmas. We got Yahtzee. I didn't know you liked to play Yahtzee.
I like that game.
Yeah? That's great. We'll have to play some Yahtzee pretty soon.
I only won one time. Or twice, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, cool. I'm not very good at Yahtzee, so you'll have to teach me how to play. I don't think I've played since I was a kid. So this episode today, my guest, she's really funny. Her name is Tema Sall. Alrighty, Tema Sall. Practice it. Don't burp into the microphone.
Excuse me. I didn't mean to.
What was my guest's name? You already forgot it. You're the worst. Tema Sall. That's it.
Tema Sall.
Tema Sall. And yeah, it's a fun episode. She's really funny. She came out to perform at one of my shows with another friend of mine. Her name is Sam Lopez. And originally, I was going to have Sam record the episode with me that we're going to play in a second. But Sam was like, well, I don't know the next time Tema's going to be up. And I think you'll really like her. And I think it should be a great episode. And Sam's going to be up again in a couple of weeks. So I could record with Sam then. So I just decided to just jump in. It was great. I don't know that I've ever done a podcast. It was like a challenge because like Tema and I had literally, before we recorded this podcast, we had met 10 minutes before. It's so all right, but it ended up being a lot of fun. She's really cool.
Sweet.
And there's another person that makes a brief appearance on this podcast.
I hear the coffee.
Yeah, the coffee maker always goes off when we record, huh? Your mom actually makes a brief appearance on this episode. You can't make shocked faces like that. The audience can't.
I know.
Yeah, while I was in the middle of recording this episode, your mom came by and dropped off Isaac's birthday gift.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was gonna edit it out, but one of the things I kind of like about this podcast is it's kind of raw. It's kind of like, we're just sitting at the kitchen table right now, right? Yeah. And when I recorded it, there were a bunch of comedians sitting on the couches over there while Tim and I were talking. You hear my other friend Keith Carey. You met Keith? He's the one that worked at Disneyland. In the middle of this episode, he's leaving. he was my guest on last week's show, and he says bye. So I don't know. I think that stuff's kind of fun. It's like kind of like the unpolished, raw nature of podcasting that I really like. It just kind of makes it feel a little bit more alive, you know? Gives it kind of a contextual nature. Makes it feel more like friends like sitting around having a conversation, you know? Mm-hmm. Do you really?
No. I don't, in case you didn't hear me.
Yeah, you can't stop rolling away from the microphone. You said that thing made your feet hurt?
Yeah, yesterday.
Your hoverboard made your feet hurt?
Yeah, because I was like leaning back and forth and left and right.
Yeah, making you work those feet muscles?
Yeah.
To keep your balance?
Uh-huh.
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 Well, all right, my roly-poly. Should we start this episode?
Yeah.
Do you remember my guest's name? You don't. Tema Sall.
Tema Sall.
Tema Sall.
Sall.
All right, guys. Without further ado, here is Tema Sall. It's sort of more of like an anti-mantra, I guess, if that's a thing. Like, because, like, I mean, the sad dad moment would be like if I'm like making her dinner and I make her mac and cheese, and then oh my gosh, she needs some like veggies, so then I'll put some like carrots on the plate, you know, and then I'm like, oh, she needs fruit too, and then like I'll grab like a little cutie, put that on the plate, and then like I set it down, and I realize everything's orange. I have like an entirely orange plate, and then I'm like, oh, you're being a sad dad, bro. Like, this is
That's
lame.
funny.
And so it's something like I've always said to myself, and I was like, I think that's what I'll make my dad podcast. That's what I'll call it. So it's
interesting because you have the perspective of both, where you have had a dad and you also are a dad.
Yeah.
So it just gives you full ground to be able to understand, I feel.
Totally, yeah. I actually had my dad on a while back.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, for my Father's Day episode.
Naturally.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Cool.
Your last name is Sall, is that right?
Sall, yeah.
What's the origin on that?
So, well, in terms of my last name, I should do a little more research on that. But
okay.
my first name, Tema, was named in memory of my grandmother, Thelma. So you drop the H and the L.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then I'm named after my grandfather, Louis, and the female version of Louis is Louise. So that's my middle name.
Oh, yeah.
So, Thelma and Louise.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's not.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, but like the movie is not named after me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I came before the movie.
Have you done a 23andMe to find out?
Not yet. That's actually on my Hanukkah wish list still for this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're Jewish.
I am very Jewish.
You're very Jewish.
I mean, I'm Jewish.
I loved that Hanukkah video.
Oh, thank you. Chronica. You watched it?
I did.
God bless.
It was
Thank
great.
you.
It was so funny.
Thanks, man. It's crazy because that whole song actually came out of a joke that I wrote when I was in college. Uh-huh. And that was, some time ago. And
I don't think, do you have Chronica trademarked? Because I have not heard that anywhere else.
No, it's become a little bit more of a known thing now, but what I did is I took this joke and then I played the ukulele and then I just started making a song about it. And it kind of flowed and it just kind of happened very naturally.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Were you playing the ukulele before it was cool?
Before it was cool? Did it ever stop being cool?
I feel like I see a lot of like hipstery chicks playing it, but like I don't know if it's
Zooey Deschanel kind of opened up a world for women. I think that she just kind of was like, "Here you go, ladies. These are bounds you can cross."
In fairness, you're very good at it.
Oh, thank you kindly. I appreciate it.
I'm not a great musician, but I can recognize people that.
Thank you.
seem to be proficient at what they do. So yeah,
I love music. Music, actually, funny enough, my dad brought me up on a lot of really cool music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I've also have always been a performer, and I used to sing all the time, and I've been trained, and so I've always loved music. And then when I got back into stand-up, because I started in March 2009, and then did it for 2.5 years, and then I just took a sabbatical, and then excuse me. And then I got back into it in July 2016. Yeah. And in October of 2016, I was like, you know what? Today's the day I'm just going to go buy a ukulele. And I did that. Like
the rest was history.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had this this hunger for something new, something different.
Yeah.
It kind of came a part of like my whole rebranding myself, and it was cool, man.
Were you a musician before?
No, I mean, like I played the clarinet when from 4th to 6th grade.
Clarinet's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of activities, man. I was ADD,
jazz clarinet.
Took jazz. Well, I took jazz class and I took clarinet,
Yeah.
and ballet and tap.
Really?
Yeah.
Doing it all?
What else? Basketball, volleyball.
Where'd you grow up? Or are you doing
Los Angeles.
Oh, did you grow up in Los Angeles?
I'm a Los Angeles native.
Wow. For as big as that city is, it's shocking like how few Los Angeles natives I've actually met. Like I know a lot of people that live there, but they're all from other places.
Well, because LA is, there are a lot of transplants.
Right.
And LA, I've seen it evolve over the years, and I've seen a definite trend and just a change of pace.
Sure.
And just social media has this a huge part of it,
What part of LA were you growing up in?
I grew up in Toluca Lake.
Okay, where's that at?
It's right next to Universal Studios and Studio City in Burbank.
Okay, that's
a small little pocket.
Yeah, but that's very
beautiful.
LA.
It's so LA. It's so LA. Like it's right in the valley, at the beginning of the valley. Just get off of the 101 like at Cahuenga, and just make a right.
It's right there.
It's there.
So good.
Can't miss it.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
And what was Toluca Lake like when you were growing up?
Very. I had a really nice life. It was very loving, very supportive. I like to say that I grew up in Toluca Lake to pursue white privilege. It was very at the age of 5. That's when I started. But I'm so lucky. I've been very fortunate and blessed in my life. My parents have been really great role models in terms of being successful in their own work, but also encouraging strong work ethic and strong morals and values.
Oh,
and
that's great.
We did grow up in a Jewish home, and we did have Shabbat on Friday nights.
Yeah,
and then but it wasn't we still had electronics and we still used electricity. So, but we went to Sunday school. My brother and I had a bar and bat mitzvah. So.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of Jewish friends, but so many of them. I mean, in fairness, a lot like my Christian friends are not practicing. I mean, they don't know a lot about Jewish culture or tradition.
Sure.
And in fair, like I said, I don't judge. I'm Armenian. I can't tell you anything about Armenian culture. But it's just I mean, it's neat that they had the wherewithal to have you involved in that. I mean, do you feel like you've taken gotten a lot out of that? And
well, what I got a lot out of my upbringing is just the value and structure and also foundation and culture and tradition. And love, a lot of love, bro. Great. I feel like sometimes my heart overpours with love. I'm just a very loving person, and I dedicate that to my that's because of my family. Sure. So I'm just very lucky in that.
I like that.
Yeah, it's very healthy.
And you were saying you were kind of you were always a performer, so you were always kind of hamming it up when you were a kid.
Always, man. I was the black sheep of the family for sure. Yeah.
Were they kind of stoic? I mean, was your family not that way?
Well, my uncle was a phenomenal actor. He still is, and he's a really fantastic teacher. And when he was on stage or whenever he was on the screen, he stole the show. He was so demanding. He commanded the audience and attention. Yeah. And then my cousin Brendan and my cousin Taryn also were very active and in plays and acting. And I don't know, I got a lot of inspiration from them growing up, but I always did it myself. Right. So my mom and dad are not in the entertainment industry at all. They certainly know people, it's through work and whatnot, but yeah, my inspiration was drawn through them, but I don't know if there was anyone else really in the family line that actually that's not true. I found out, this is crazy, on my dad's side that there was a cousin related to my grandpa, my Zadie, that actually was a stand-up comedian.
No shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, what's his name? Something Sall. Oh man, I have to Google this, man.
What was what was it that eventually? I mean, because it sounded like you tried a lot of different stuff. How was it that you fell into stand up as your thing?
Well, I always did theater growing up, and then when I was in college, I was there for a theater degree.
Yeah.
So my senior year, I was auditioning for a sketch comedy troupe called All Sorts of Trouble from the Boy in the Bubble. There's some people that are alumni, actually. You know Sandy Danto?
I don't know.
Sandy Danto was one of the alumni from that troupe at Indiana University. That's where I went to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So an LA native, and then I went to the Midwest for college. So I auditioned. I didn't get in, and then the second semester, I saw one of my good friends perform at the Funny Bone. Now it's the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana. And I was so inspired by his set, and he did so well. And we went out to have drinks afterwards, like a bunch of us, to go celebrate. Yeah. At the upstairs pub, and I said, Jeff, I'm so inspired by what you just did. I want to try stand-up. Yeah. And he was like, well, Tema, you should. You're funny. You're Jewish. You actually have a chance at this. Going for it. You know, it's a package. Put a little bow on it. So there you have it. And the rest is history. The 2 weeks later, I got up and I did my first 5-minute set at the open mic.
Wow. How'd it go?
Wednesday. It was great. Yeah. It was cool.
Good.
Had potential.
Oh, yeah. It's, you always get that. No, it was pretty good for a first time.
Yeah. And I got, it was. And I got good feedback. And then I went back the second night, and then the second week, and then the third week. Third week, that Wednesday, it was like, it was a good set.
So, so did you technically started in Indiana? Oh, that's wild. What's that scene like?
When I did it, I mean, it was a bunch of college students and like other people. It was cool.
Hang on one second. Let me get the door.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, I know what.
Okay, you got it.
Hey, is Abby here?
She's actually over at my mom's.
Okay, I'm gonna run this by you then. I have his birthday card. She needs to sign it still and write his name on the back. He wanted and then there's $20. They're all $5 increments because each spin costs $5.
Oh, that's nice.
So.
Word.
So she needs to sign it still, and then.
I'll get a signature on it.
And then, I'm guessing they're still going to the movie on Friday.
Yes. Okay. All right.
All right, here you go.
Thanks so much. All right.
Wow.
Sorry, that's my daughter's mom.
Oh, there's nothing to apologize for, please.
I'm sorry. So we were talking about the Indiana comedy scene.
Yes, yeah. It was. I was only doing it for about 2 months until I graduated from college because I was a senior. Mm-hmm. So I did 2 months of stand-up comedy, open mic comedy at the Funny Bone Now Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah. And moved back to LA in June of 2009 and started the comedy scene. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Just jumped right into it.
Jumped right in. Met someone who could put me on stage, and I started doing their shows.
I mean, it's helpful when you like come to a scene like LA with some time. You know,
it actually did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it can be tough to grind out that open mic scene. I mean, obviously, it doesn't mean you're not going to open mics just because you have 5 minutes, but still having that like right out of the gate when you jump in.
Truly,
there's
a little safety cushion.
If you will. Something to come back to.
And I appreciate that.
I mean, that's what I always tell guys that are starting out in our room too. It's like just get that first 5 minutes down because you get 5 minutes and that's an act. It's like you have an act. That's amazing. Yeah. I can book you if you have an act, and then just build from there. So, okay. And so you, was it, when you, coming from that Indiana scene to LA, was it overwhelming? Was it, because I imagine it's a way bigger scene, right?
So when I got back into LA, I started hitting some mics, and I was doing this like weekly room, and that kind of helped a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was doing it over the weekends. But
you were running the show?
No. Do you know a Booker? No, you probably wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But and I don't want to drop names.
It's okay.
Because sometimes you don't like them either, but who cares?
I get it. There's plenty of names I do not drop on the show, too.
Fair enough, yeah. So I was doing time at their room, and it was like every Friday and Saturday. And it's like one of those shows where it's like, if you can bring people out, you get stage time. And because I was just starting out, like people were like, oh my God, we got to go watch your show. We got to go support. So people were super supportive of it. And then, but when I graduated college and came back here, I focused on stand-up, and then I also I signed up with Central Casting, so I started doing background acting. I was babysitting. I was doing PA work. I was grinding, man. I had so many different jobs, and it was just a matter of finding the time to balance it all.
Right.
So, and also fortunately, I got to live at home with my family, and I did so for a few years, and I saved up some money and stuff. Right. But I did the grind of juggling 5 different jobs and doing stand-up for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
so,
it's hard.
And so then when I landed a full-time job in May of 2011, and I had just, at that point, I was commuting back and forth from Toluca Lake to Santa Monica, which was a nice trek, and especially in traffic 2 times a day. It's 10 hours a week in traffic. It's crazy. So I just kind of put the comedy thing on the...
Yeah, I can see that. What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in entertainment marketing.
Oh.
And I was a production coordinator.
That sounds exhausting. Yeah, I'm exhausted just hearing you say the word.
I know you're falling asleep, literally.
I'm just
that's overwhelming.
I'm so sweaty.
I know. Why am I dripping? This is insane.
I mean, now was it? So you were still kind of in the entertainment industry. Is that?
By the way, I've always been working in the entertainment industry, which is great. I just had to put stand up on the side.
Gotcha.
It kind of fell on the back burner just for a little bit because I was really focused on wanting to build a career. I'm so grateful for my job. It was at a place called Pyro Creative, and I learned a lot about producing. So that has been, transferable, right, skill set wise, and it's been huge. So now looking past that time and everything, I went back into production. I worked as a writer PA, and then I worked as another PA, and then I was unemployed for a while, but then I got back into the background acting, and then I fell into being a stand-in. So
a stand-in
on TV. Do? So
is that the person you see only from behind?
No. They're the person. My job is to stand on the actor's marks so that grip camera and electric can set up the shot for a scene.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Which has been a really cool job. So it's been my job for the last 2.5 years.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's cool.
It's been great.
What was the I mean, you did the stand-up thing. It fell by the wayside, and then what was the? You're I need to get back into this.
It was after I had completed a stand-in gig on Roadies, and it was July of 2016. Yeah, and I was booked on a show at in a room, and I just remember after that set, I was yep, I'm back into this. This is it.
Let's do this.
This is it. And
do you road dog it up a lot?
I'm starting to now, which is fun. I'm really loving it. Just at least getting out of LA because I'm from there, and so it's just nice to take your craft on the road, man. It's dope.
It is, and there's something very satisfying about making somebody laugh in a different zip code.
1,000%.
You're I am funny. I am.
Hell yeah.
It just feels good. I really like it. And that's great. What did your family think of you doing stand up?
Well, my parents were always as long as you're paying the bills, as long as you're making money to make ends meet.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother.
Yeah. What does he do?
He works in real estate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they got the quirky kid and the
the kid who has job security and the kid who doesn't have job security.
I find if there's at least one really successful kid in the family, the pressure's off of
parents are well, we did right. It's fine. No, they're my parents, they listen, if they ever hear this episode, which wouldn't it be a treat?
It'd be great.
It would be great. Music to their ears. I love my parents so much, and they're nothing but incredibly loving and supportive. Yeah. And it's actually become even more palpable over time. It just grows deeper, you know? It's called unconditional love.
That's what it is. Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And so this is a show called Sad Dad.
Yeah.
And we talk about dads. And you're Tema Sall.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
You have a dad.
I have a dad.
You have a dad. Where did your dad grow up?
My dad grew up in upstate New York in a small town called Elmira.
Elmira?
Yeah, population of maybe 60K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Elmira, wasn't that a cartoon character name? Wasn't that
Elmer Fudd? No, Elmira.
From Tiny Toons.
I think you're right.
That's wild. You said that name. That was deep in the recesses of my brain.
That certainly was.
Awoken some stuff.
I love Tiny Toons. There was a movie like way back in the day. And we had it on Laserdisc.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
dude. The big ones you like.
My dad had a Laserdisc.
Yeah.
And, like,
I actually have a bunch. I was like, and we still have like this box full of them. And I was like, I wonder if these are worth anything. They're not. Nobody wants these things.
You know, just like the Beanie Baby collection that I still have.
I think they might almost work as like a piece of pop art, you know, if like because they're so big, they're almost like records for movies.
They're like vinyls.
Yeah, and like you could you have these just big pieces of art.
That's all it is now.
And
archaic vintage art. Let it just hang on the walls.
And so, have you ever been out to Elmira?
Oh yeah,
what's that place like?
Cold during the winter and super like humid during the summer, but just such a loving and like, you know, upstate New York. It's just like super cute, residential, you know, East Coast vibe. Is
it near the water? Is it?
No.
Centrally located?
Yeah, more so. It's more inland, definitely. But when my memories of going to visit Elmira were always really loving and cool. My grandparents, my bubby and my Zadie.
That was what I was going to ask you.
They're so great. Yeah. So cute. That house that they grew up in was just so sweet.
I picture it on an apple farm, but I don't think that's fair.
No, but they did have a tomato bush in the back. So, you know, you wouldn't tell me. Yeah, you were almost there.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah. Cool. So he's grown up out there.
Yeah.
And did he have a lot of siblings or was he?
He did, actually. He was the youngest out of 3. Okay. So it was him and then my Aunt Corky and then my Uncle Sid. Yeah, was the oldest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they're growing up out there. And what kind of a kid was your dad? Was he?
He was cool. He was reserved. Well, his nickname in school was Turtle because he was a little slow.
Wow, a little slow.
But it's just so sweet looking back on it now because, you know, jeans, baby.
Yeah.
At times, yeah.
Was he? No. And in what sense? He just wasn't a quick runner, or was he?
He was always
not quick to the uptake.
No, he was involved with sports. Like I think just like school sometimes. Like, but you know, whatever. That's not.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably the 50s or 60s, and they were so awful.
Kids can be little shits.
Well, there's that, and he might have been mildly dyslexic for all we know. You know, they just didn't know how to diagnose that stuff. You know,
of course.
I'm just assuming things about your dad now.
No. It's okay. It's fair. Yeah. You're partially correct. No, I mean, like he's not dyslexic, but you know, ADD is like a real thing, and like as a child who's undiagnosed, it's really challenging for all parties, really, especially the one who's not who's definitely got it but not diagnosed.
Right. Well, like my older brother had a lot of. I mean, my older brother's bipolar, and he grew up in the 70s. He's 14 years older than me, and so, I mean, it was just. I mean, right up until like the 90s, it was, if you had a mental or learning disability, it was just a nightmare. They didn't know what to do with you. Especially
because that time you're, you know, using drugs too, and like exploring, and like, you know, just, it's, you mixing those two together is just not healthy. Right. It's not good.
And so you mentioned he was doing sports. Was he a good athlete?
Well, he actually was a bodybuilder later down the line. Yeah, after, because he went to college, he did community college, and then he moved out to California, up to San Francisco, and then he moved down to Los Angeles. And I remember he also was working out in Palm Springs. That's how him and my mom met, actually.
Oh, nice.
He was working at a golf shop in Palm Springs.
Just totally jacked in his golf shirt.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, can I help you? And like the pencil looks tiny in his hand.
Yeah, and he crushes it.
He's like, oh, that happens all the time. Like, I'm so sorry. Like,
my dad was very smooth.
Yeah. And he's kind of also like a bumbling feeling like oaf about it too, like in a cute way, and she's like, oh,
just
crushing
smitten.
things.
Yeah, there's love at first sight.
I don't know why I just went on that weird tangent about your family. So he was. What took him from New York to California?
His parents told him to get out. I mean, like, not in a bad sense of just like, there's nothing here. Don't build your life out here. Get out of here and go somewhere else and build your life.
Leave the apple farm. And
the cherry bush, the tomato cherry bush. It'll be fine without you.
Look how bad things are here.
Ridiculous.
And what did he go to school for?
I think he did business. Yeah, and then so he ended up he had a lot of different jobs, but he ends up joining in the insurance industry. He became a insurance agent. So yeah, and that's what he's been doing for 30 plus years.
Wow.
And he's really good at it.
Is he?
Yeah, my dad's an insurance man.
Moves a lot of units.
Yeah, yeah, but like he's smart in that, and he always has been. And what's cool is like he used to teach me different like math equations and like the rule of 72, and just like breaking down like it's like he's really good when it comes to financial planning and just and making just lists of things to do. And he's like a phenomenal cook, and he's like a quiet genius. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like that.
He's got such a fun sense of humor, such a like unique and just like quirky sense of humor.
Yeah.
And
do you feel like that inspired your sense of humor?
I see parts of like my humor through my father, definitely. But he's just like his own sweet little gem. Yeah, he really is. He's sweet. He's always had like a passion for things, and he's very like creature of habit about some stuff, but like also just adds such warmth to everything that he does. Yeah. So he's really cool like that.
I was going to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned that he met your mom.
Yeah.
Are they still married?
They still are married.
How long have they been married?
It'll be 34 years in May.
Whoa, good for them. That's amazing.
May 19. Nope, 21st. 19th, May 19th.
That's really cool.
1985. Yeah.
And what's their relationship like?
Really great. I mean, they listen. Marriage takes work and commitment, but also real unconditional love. You know, and I do know that they have that for each other. They're also like partners through life, and like they travel with each other all the time. It's really sweet.
Yeah, and they kind of have that like understanding of each other
truly.
Too. That, like like that's something. I've been in like long-term relationships, but I don't know that I've ever been with somebody long enough to where they like truly like can like understand me and anticipate my reaction to things. And you see that I see that in my parents. My parents have been married for forever too.
They get it.
Yeah, and they just kind of, my mom gets mad about something, and then she'll tear to my dad about something, and he knows not to push her buttons, and he knows that she's going to apologize in 10 to 15 minutes for being, and so
they just get it. They get each other.
I mean, I never got that far.
Sure.
She goes off on me, and then I go off on her, and it's just like, oh, why couldn't it just been cool like my dad? She probably would have apologized, so so that's great. And so so they've been married 34 years. Was there a big gap between when they got married and when they started having kids?
No, 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, they had me. They had me in 87. So, and they got married in 85.
Okay. Yeah. We're like the same age. I was born in 86.
Well, what date?
March 22nd.
Okay, I'm April 27th.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay.
Valentina de Sama. We're almost like a pot.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what that was. That was great.
It's just me being T.
You just being you.
I'm so wild. Crazy.
And so, like, what kind of what was your relationship like with your dad growing up?
He was very involved. He loved like doing activities, and like I remember we did a lot of father-daughter stuff, and like he'd take me to like Color Me Mine, or like we did this like father, like this Indian princess sort of like thing. I know it sounds really weird, but it's like an organization where fathers and daughters come together and like do activities together. Oh, cool. So I had found out about it through like a fellow elementary school friend. And yeah, it was always a way of like relationship building and like just always being focused on the time spent with each other and loving activities. And I have a lot of great memories. I have a lot of funny memories. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, he also really brought me up on like music.
Yeah, you mentioned the music. Talk a little about that.
Well, he's he grew up in Elmira in upstate New York, so like he was a Deadhead too. Like,
was he?
Oh yeah, man, he loved the Grateful Dead. He loved Grateful Dead. Bruce Springsteen is like his number one.
Yeah, it's his jam, huh?
Yeah, to the point where my mom and him have traveled the world to go see Bruce Springsteen live, which is commitment.
That is commitment
and passion.
Wow,
talk about love.
Yeah,
that's just like and it's great. And it's cool to watch them do that. But like I remember there being like a laser disc collection that he had, and he like got the laser discs that were like Billy Joel and like Weird Al Yankovic and like Michael Jackson and just thank you. And he like just me watching those music videos kind of like gave me a stronger appreciation for music and cinematography and just like who'd have thunk through appreciation of music videos, but like good music, So I acquired a taste for music on an early age, and like cooking too. Like my dad always was like huge in the kitchen. Like, He just loves to cook because my grandmother, my bubby, actually was a great cook.
Oh, was he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's his like go-to dish? Like,
he has a few. One that I absolutely love is his chicken parmesan from just like straight up scratch. Like, that's wow. Okay. Yeah, it's really good, and like he adds such flavor to his dishes, and like it's definitely a feeling of home.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it's warm.
It's warm, bro.
Yeah, it's like
good, super sentimental on the Sad Dad podcast.
Yeah, it's like a heated blanket.
What kind of? I meant to ask it earlier. What kind of work does your mom do?
My mom's a realtor. She's a real estate agent.
Oh, your brother followed in her footsteps.
Yeah. That's he amazing. Does commercial. She does residential. Okay. So it's a little different, but at the same time, like he also has the business, degree.
Oh, no, sure.
I had the liberal arts one.
Residential seems harder.
Yeah, she's a boss at it. She's slaying.
I feel like somebody would be like, I don't think I like this house. And your mom would be like, no, you're wrong.
Let me tell you what's phenomenal about this property, okay? Yeah. It's got 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. You are on a quiet street. You don't have a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. It's a great neighborhood. It's very residential. See, now I can't be a real estate agent.
No, you're being an actor.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Which is what I am. An actor and comedian.
You're acting like a real estate agent. I like it. Are you taking off, brother?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Bye,
thanks so
Keith.
much.
See ya.
Drive safe.
Safe travels.
Safe travels. So you got it down.
Yeah. Well, I've been brought up with it,
Have you ever been tempted to like go to the dark side? Go to the realtor side?
Have I ever been tempted?
Yeah.
I've helped my mom out with stuff, but I don't think I can.
No, not for you.
I just this is my dream. This is my passion. This is my focus. And so, not to spread my palette of skill sets even further on that crouton. But it's actually a crostini, let's be honest. A crouton is too small with a palette this wide. I feel like by switching gears and trying to focus on real estate would totally drag me away.
Yeah, something I experience like as a temptation sometimes when like things are getting really hard in comedy. I'm like, I just quit comedy and I could go work for my dad in his business and I could probably make a really comfortable living. Or I've got a ton of sales experience. I go get a job, make a very comfortable living. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just was wondering like if you were ever like had that in the back of your mind too, like, Well,
of course, but like I've worked for both of my parents and at times whenever they needed it and I was able to, it's just not the same.
Sure.
Yeah, there's not a similar sort of passion behind it. Yeah. I think that having gotten to the point where you realize that like you know what you're doing in terms of what you want to be doing.
Right.
It's hard to look back.
Yeah.
Because you work so hard to get there.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's not to say that I wouldn't like help them out in a heartbeat.
Sure.
You know,
Oh, I mean, yeah, totally.
whatever
I
it
get that,
takes.
too.
Absolutely.
I was just digging a hole. I had to dig my dad's septic system for him the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just,
Lit, fam.
living out on the farm is a lot of.
There's some dirty work.
Yeah, it's a lot of holes. You just have to dig a lot of holes for stupid reasons.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, right? Dig a hole deeper.
I meant to ask. Are your wubby and your bubby? I'm sorry. Well, your grandparents. Are they still around?
No, in fact, the only one that's still around is my grandfather on my mom's side.
Oh.
Yeah, it's life. Thank you. You know, my bubby passed away when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh.
I was 10, I think, and then my Zadie passed away when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
And those were both very hard. I mean, super hard. They were so loving and just like always generous, and they always gave beautiful gifts, and like, you know, they were just loving. Yeah. Great memories.
That's right.
It is, but it's also life, and just I'm blessed and appreciate the fact that I've had them in my life.
Yeah.
It was really great. Good memories. But yeah, I was going to say something too.
I was going to ask you, was music, was your dad a musician? Was that where the love of music came from?
No, he just really enjoyed it. And surprisingly, he never played an instrument. I wonder if he would pick up an instrument. He would actually...
Yeah.
I think he would take to it.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to talk to him about that.
He's not retired yet, is he?
No, but when he retires, he's going to start playing music.
Yeah. You guys can start like a ukulele jam band.
Oh, man. My brother still has this Squire. I should just have my dad pick that up and be like, Dad, let's
just do it.
We're a 2-man band.
Yeah. Just do it. That's right.
A fan band.
I noticed you mentioned he was a Grateful Dead fan.
Yeah.
Does that make him relate to your like Chronica, like, you know, I'm going to think of the whole weed thing.
The funny thing about that is that my dad, like, he's always curious about marijuana, but like he just doesn't care to partake in it at all. I'm like always offering edibles. I'm like, Dad, you're gonna sleep better if you just pop a little. And no, he's like, I'm okay. I'm good without it.
Well.
Hey. There's totally nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I just hope one day he does.
Give it a go.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not to say that he has in the past. It's just, I think at this point, he's like, you know, I'm good. I don't need it. And that's totally respectful. And
I mean, he kind of I'm kind of the same way. I don't really smoke weed just because I just get I'm just not cool like on it. Like,
that's fair.
It just ruins everybody's time.
So if you're aware of that, then that's it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, last time I was in Orange County, somebody offered me weed, and I was like, no, man, you know, I'm just not cool on it. And he was like, thank you. He's like, I'm so sick of people doing it when they know they're not going to be cool.
Yeah. That's honest and like, very self-aware.
Yeah, like, but just the sincerity of his like, thank you. Yeah.
Really completed that.
Yeah, really kind of like, because normally I'm getting shamed and peer pressured for not doing it, you know? So,
what's up with that?
Yeah, I was the sincerity in that guy's thank you just meant the world to me.
Hell yeah.
So Tema, this is a part of the show where I ask for a Dadecdote. Did you have any particular memory in mind that really sticks out from childhood of your dad?
Well, I'm searching through there's so many.
Take your time.
Oh, I really get to take my time on this one.
Yeah, it's okay. Editing is a magic wand, so even if there's some dead air while you're thinking,
hilarious,
it's not a problem.
Well, the one that came to my mind was I remember my mom doing real estate. Like when I was younger, my dad and I would drive out to visit her, and she was like listing a few properties out in San Dimas, which is quite far from the LA area, like relatively speaking, a good hour and change.
Yeah. I was thinking Bill and Ted.
Right, yeah, and Raging Waters, bro. So my mom was working out there, and I remember my dad would take me out there to go visit. On Sundays, because she would have a Sunday open house. And so one Sunday he took me and we went to a little festival that was going on, because there were like rides. It was like a carnival. And we had lunch beforehand back in Toluca Lake at Papu's a hot dog show. I had a tuna melt, which was one of my favorite things.
You got a tuna melt at the hot dog shop?
Oh, man. Get with the program, man.
You're one of those kids. I get it.
Clearly. Now that does explain a lot, right? Doesn't it? It all just... Anyway, so I remember we got out to this carnival and there was a salt and pepper shaker ride. Have you ever, you know what one of those are?
Oh, yeah. It's the kind of like, it swings you.
It swings back and forth and then it starts getting fast, or it like starts going up higher, and next thing you know, it's actually turning you 360 upside down. And that was one of my first ever upside down ride experiences. And I ended up losing my shit after the ride.
Oh, that tuna melt?
Yeah. Well, I lost my tuna melt. Yeah, but my dad was just like, it was so sweet because he was just like so loving and like, oh no, he took care of me, of course. And it was just like, he was just wanting to make sure I had a good time.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't let daughter on the ride after that. So maybe that's a sad dad moment, right?
I feel like he probably learned some things too. So
it's fine. Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah.
He's so sweet and he always means so well, and like he's always he's got really great advice.
Yeah.
And he's smart, street smart. Like I get my street smarts from my dad for sure. And he's a wise dude. So, and one of the things that he always says to me, and I think this is straight out of the gates of insurance land, but you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That's what my dad likes to say.
That's fun. I like a good, clever turn of phrase advice.
Yeah. Trust me, anytime I run late, I'm like, well, failed to plan.
Thanks,
Dad was right. Love you, Dad.
Tema, you've been so much fun today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. You're fun too.
Oh, thank you. If people want like more Tema in their life, where can they find you?
Who doesn't want more Tema in their life? I'm kidding. You guys can find me on all social media at Tema Louise. That is me. TemaLouise.
Yeah. Do you have a website? I feel like
I do. It's temalouise.com.
Yeah,
easy peasy. Lemon
I went
squeeze.
to that. I think when I was putting together the promo.
That.
I needed some. Like,
I gotta update it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It was a nice site though.
Thank you.
Handsome websites.
Hamstrom website. It was not handsome. It was hamsome.
Did I say handsome? Is that what I said?
It sounds better that way. Let's just go with that.
Okay, cool.
I'm a ham.
Sometimes I'm an idiot. And I say weird things.
It was actually clever. It worked out perfectly. It's nice.
Well, Tema, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, dude. Bye.
And we're back.
Yep.
All right, Tema Sall, everybody. She's great. Check out her go to her page and check out her Chronica video. It's so the production value on it's really good too. I'm like, I wonder who shot that. I should have asked her. If you could, just a few housekeeping things. If you could rate and review on iTunes, you'd be my hero forever. Sad Dad Patreon if you want to support the show financially. If you got a little money left over, some of Grandma's Christmas money, and then you can send your Dadecdotes to me.
Yep.
saddadpodcast@gmail.com. I'll read them on the air. I'll also read your iTunes reviews on the air. And what else?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now the Christmas is over, and your birthday is over.
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking forward to?
The next trip to Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be probably in April or something.
Yeah. Oh, something we didn't talk about. You did stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
How'd you like it?
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Told a bunch of jokes.
In front of the whole church.
Oh man. What was that kid's name? Did the karate?
Noah.
Oh, that was so funny.
You thought it was a joke.
I thought it was so funny. It reminded me of like a scene from like Napoleon Dynamite or something. It was like this really quiet, awkward thing while this kid's just doing karate on stage. It's just it was the best. Oh my goodness. Oh man. All right, kiddo. Well, I think that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for being on. I'm glad we finally got you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first podcast being 8.
Your first podcast being 8. You're right. And also on wheels. Your first podcast on wheels. So great. Well, tell everybody goodbye.
Bye. Adios.
Adios, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Have a happy New Year's. The last sad dad of 2018.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? Hang on. I'm gonna just say, you guys, it's been this being the last podcast of 2018. It's been a really it's been a crazy year. It's been a fun year. I've had a lot of amazing things happen to me. This podcast has been so fun to produce and put out, and all you guys that have been listening, thank you so much, everybody. And looking forward to more sad dads.
In 2019.
Yeah, this was episode 40.
Dang.
That's a lot of dads, right?
I just ran into the mic.
You did. All right, you maniac. Okay, one more time. Tell the people goodbye.
Goodbye. Adios.
Adios, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy